sing. You're going to sing for the fine folks out there in TV land. What? I'm Dean Lee, and this is Media Mashup for May 15th, 2012. Coming up on tonight's show, it's D-Day. We'll explain. Big day for Facebook as they get ready for Friday's IPO. Facebook also enhances its suicide prevention outreach. The service will also launch an app center for paid apps and is testing highlighted features for letting users pay $2 to promote their status updates. Yahoo's CEO Thompson is out, reportedly has thyroid cancer. Ugly Meter app worries cyberbullying activists. We'll explain that. The United States Postal Service is to ban shipments of lithium-ion battery-powered devices starting tomorrow. That's pretty much everything you own with a battery in it. The weekly tech tip and more, so stay tuned. Media Mashup is being brought to you by the Pasadenan.com and the hardworking folks in our Citizen Journalism Workshop. They're the ones who help make this all possible. This is the geekiest, up-to-date live technology show here on the Arroyo channel. This is where we turn the tables on the mainstream media, discussing breaking technology news, internet memes, blogging, the future of journalism, or anything else we see fit. Tonight, as always, co-host Kapawi Stibbert is here. Let's get right to the Media Mashup technology tip. So JPL invites all Earthlings to the annual open house.
But where does that put me?
Are you not from Earth?
Not from Earth, Dean.
I know, we were just talking about that, right? It's kind of a little, you know, what if I'm from some other planet mad? They're sending all these satellites out to my planet. I'm like, hey, man, what are you guys cluttering my home?
Your playground, your
playground.
area.
Yeah, so, but anyways, tongue in cheek, we get it. Earthlings, you know.
Okay.
So anyways, so June 10th, June 9th, and June 10th, which is Saturday and Sunday, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., they'll host their annual open house. Have you gone before in the past?
Yes, I have in the past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you go there and they kind of show you the labs, they show you how they make stuff and whatever, talk a little bit about the history of JPL. I've gone, covering it for the paper. And so they, highlights include life-size model of the Mars Space Laboratory, the JPL NASA spacecraft currently bound for Mars, demonstrations of numerous space missions, JPL machine shop where robotic spacecraft parts are built, and the micro devices lab where engineers and scientists use tiny technology to revolutionize space exploration. Litter the place.
No. I was going to say, a lot of activities, really good hands-on for visiting younger kids. Yeah.
You know, it's worth the day. It's worth going out there and
it's educational.
Right, especially if you like sciences. If you like the science and you kind of get to meet, or, people that are out there that, want to get into this field. This is a meet and greet for, the scientists are right there. The people that are actually the engineers and working on this, they are the people that demo it, so. And the other thing is they're going to show off 3D videos of sort of Earth science missions. I've done this one before. I did the 3D video thing. So, so that's their open house. Again, it's June 9th and June 10th from 9 until 4 at JPL, which is located at 4800 Oak Grove Drive here in Pasadena. There's a controversy over that, right? Is it
stone's throw from the studio here? Yeah,
and no, I was going to say, is it Pasadena or is it La Cañada? And so, would people get there? What are the directions you go?
210 freeway exiting off of Oak Grove.
Oh, okay, it's easy as that. Yeah. And then just right till it ends, right?
Right till it ends.
Yeah. Goes right into the gates.
Yeah.
And so that's our technology tip. And so let's get right to this idea. I did this moment in tech because it's D-Day, which is, a big, if you're a gamer in the world of games, this is the day Diablo 3 launched at midnight. And
hours ago.
Yeah, hours of people lighting up.
Yeah.
And so they're literally, this is one of those tech moments that people look back at, mainly because it took them 12 years to make this version of it. And so the last, Diablo game, Diablo 2.
You can't rush perfection, Dean.
Yes, you can. I can.
You can rush it. But time will tell. Well, as we always say here, we file things away. But Diablo 3, as you said, it came out midnight, so we were going to have to get
So that's our, our tech moment. So that it brings us to our top story, which is Diablo 3. That was a cue for them. And so, all right, we're not going to run videos, intro videos, and so.
Yeah, we're running videos.
Are we? Okay.
Play a while and listen. Listen. Play a while and listen.
It's been a couple months since I played Diablo 2. D3's coming out soon. Tell
Oh,
me
well,
what
this
am I
isn't
to
the
do?
video that
Said it to my girlfriend, but
I
she
was
don't want to
thinking the
know.
top
In
news
another
story,
couple
but-
days, I'll be playing Diablo 3. It's true. Start with Demon Hunter. I'ma play the monk too. I'll have money in my stash. I don't know about you. Thumbs up if you're hardcore on D2. My girl can't see how much this means to me. D3 takes my ODs. If I was your boyfriend, I'd need my space to breathe. I gotta run some dungeons and pimp out my skills.
So, right, and so let me just explain what the video was. And so that was a spoof video of
Diablo 2.
No, 3. Diablo 3, called, what is it? Diablo 3 Stole My Girlfriend and.
I thought it was Ate My Boyfriend.
Oh, Ate My Boyfriend.
Ate My Boyfriend.
Yeah. And so it was a spoof of Justin Bieber's song Boyfriend. And so it goes on just about, the idea of you don't know where your boyfriend is. He's playing Diablo 3
He's
kind
gaming.
of thing. In fact, we were going to play the video after we do the story, but since we ran the video, I figured we'd need to explain it. Anyways, let's get into the story and forget about the video.
The story.
So the fans of Diablo 3 celebrated at midnight. We talked a little bit about that. Awaiting the video game, a crowd of more than 1,500 people came out to the Irvine, it's called the Spectrum Center, but it's GameStop. Doesn't say it in the story, but I know this area. And so shopping center located about a mile away from the developer Blizzard. They're the people that make the video game. And, so they had, people come out, the developers of the game, some of the artists drew some of the characters, and it was sort of a big event. I'm not really sure why they do these events at midnight, especially for video games that draw kids. It's always kind of bothered me that you do a midnight launch, for something that teenagers would want on a Monday night.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this before, about some of the safety concerns with the midnight releases.
Yeah,
but with the rating, that
I figured this is the devil, right? The devil's we got to wait for the devil to come out. You can't have him come out in the middle of the day.
You got to wait till midnight.
And so you got to wait, yeah. And so anyway, so like 1,500 people came out to this area right now, right around the Blizzard Entertainment's headquarters. There were celebrations all around the world, in England and Japan and everywhere that this was launched. People sort of gathered. It was a big deal. I mean, I said this too, is that it's been anticipated for 12 years.
Yeah.
I was going to download the demo of it, but it was really, really long.
A big file.
Big file. And so I was, but from what I've seen online of, sort of YouTube videos of people playing it. By the way, I was going to put this in there, but I didn't. They actually have leaked the ending online already. So anybody that wants to, if you want to see how the game ends, there's a YouTube video already up of that.
Somebody must have done some serious gaming to get to that point.
Or it was leaked from the gaming company itself.
Blizzard,
So, but the game end is already up there. It's, from what I see, it's similar to Dungeon Crawler.
Okay.
For those people who don't know what Diablo is, you go through, it's a bird's eye view, 3D, sort of almost like a chessboard sort of view. Dungeon Crawler, which means that you go into these maze, sort of elaborate areas that are underground, and there's different levels, and battling demons. You start out in an area called Sanctuary, which is in the first and second one, and they've brought it back in the third.
Yeah.
And then as you develop skills and you become bigger and bigger, you sort of
master your skills to work your way
well,
up.
I mean, and there's, I was going to say skill. You have to get certain spells and things because some of these other demons are powerful, and you kind of have to know, do you use fire on them, or do you use ice or whatever it is to sort of win these battles and sort of clear out the dungeon. Then they have this portal thing that takes you back to the city, and you meet the people that tell you what you need to do to sort of fight Diablo at the end.
Now, did you play 1 or 2?
I played both 1 and 2.
You played both? Okay.
In fact, Diablo, I had to go look it up, because Diablo 1 I played in the mid-90s.
Okay.
It came out in 96, so I guess I played that right when it came out.
Okay.
Diablo 2 came out in 2000.
Right.
And I played that as well,
Okay.
right when it came out. I kind of forgot about Diablo.
Did you
I was more interested when StarCraft came out.
Okay. Different type of genre.
Yeah, Diablo's a hacker slasher game. You go in there, it's a button masher, right? You're just hitting the button as many times as you can to kill monsters. And so...
Gets the job done, Dean.
Is that what it's all about?
That's what it's all about.
And then the other thing we were going to say is, that if any, there's these funny kind of, if anybody in your family disappeared yesterday or today or last night, they're definitely hidden Diablo fans. And so, that's what the whole boyfriend thing was about. It was like they had all this stuff about like, at work who's a gamer or not because they...
Who didn't come in today?
Who didn't come in, or who has circles under their eyes when they came into work, And so, in fact, there's another story I didn't put in the lineup, but it was talking about people taking, like, literally anticipating this and taking 3 days off of work just to play the game.
I remember those days, sort of.
Really? You did that?
I did other things like that, but yeah.
And so, anyways, let's go ahead and... Oh, okay. So we're showing a little bit of it, so this is, the game.
The game.
Lots of action.
Well, it looks like some really good graphics.
Yeah. I don't know how intensive. I didn't look. I should have at what the requirements of it are.
Yeah. And
the other thing I didn't look, which is, is it just a PC game? Because Blizzard is known for that.
Yeah.
Just being PC, right? In fact, all of the games that they've ported over to consoles have been awful. I don't like playing Blizzard games on consoles. The other thing I found interesting, and we'll move on, we'll go to a break after this, is that, the online version of this, the massive, multiplayer role-playing version of it or whatever, you use real money. That's kind of an interesting little twist to this.
Is California going to dig in there to get their little cut?
Yeah, and you sort of form these guild kind of things like in World of Warcraft. And so I don't know if this is something that's going to become as big as World of Warcraft, if it's, Diablo. Because the first and second games were really solitary. It was about you going and trying to...
Going down to your basement and flipping the game.
Yeah, especially 1. 2 has a multiplayer, but the first one is really a solo game.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so let's go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk all about Facebook. We have 5 stories, I think it is, lined up in a row, all about Facebook. And so with that, we'll be right back.
There is really only one boy. One girl. One tree. One forest. One deep, dancing ocean. One mountain calling. One handful of sand through our fingers. One endless sky overhead. And one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, Earthshare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
Hello, little prince. Mother, what we gonna do today?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I wish I could go back when I didn't need someone to do my hair. Back when I could still say my husband's name. Back when I could have called 911 but didn't. Back when I first felt the warning signs of a stroke but did nothing. I wish I could go back, but I can't.
With a stroke, time lost is brain lost. At the first warning signs, take action immediately.
Welcome back. I want to remind everybody that if you have a question about these stories or anything tech, the show is being produced live, so you can call in at 626-794-2116 or post a question on Twitter using the hashtag Pasadenan. We also have a chat room, so you can go on to the Pasadena and sign up. Now on to the rest of the stories. Facebook. The rest of the stories are Facebook. And so Facebook is gearing up this Friday for their
initial public offering.
Yeah, that's IPO.
The IPO.
Acronym for. And so the interesting sort of aspect of this or whatever is that CNBC tweeted out earlier this week or posted yesterday, that Facebook will ring in the NASDAQ bell remotely from their Menlo Park headquarters. They won't actually be
in New York for
that. They're going to do it from their headquarters. I don't know. You think he's afraid of showing up with his hoodie? That was the big story last week. We didn't talk about it, but I guess, there were some investors that were a little bit upset that he showed up kind of casual in a hoodie and stuff instead of having. What he should have done is had a tie with a hoodie, right? Just use the hoodie as kind of the suit jacket part of it. But, I don't.
Well, times have changed. I remember a lot of people were uptight over blue jeans being brought into the board.
Well, I know we're kind of going off topic here, but that's all right. That's how we do it here, right?
Yeah.
So, people made a big deal about Steve Jobs wearing the turtlenecks. Yeah. He always showed up in blue jeans and a turtleneck. And this is kind of there's some issues about whether, or I should say controversy, that this is too dressed down.
Okay.
That even the turtleneck, it was from some famous designer that designed those black turtlenecks. So you were looking up the stock offerings. What are they?
The initial stock offering is between $28 and $34, 28 to 35, pardon me. And that's for an individual stock, but as I was telling you earlier, is that they sell them in lots of 100. So that's anywhere between a $2,800 to $3,500 investment if someone's going to buy a solid lot of these stocks.
Right, and they're giving it a value of $77 billion to $96 billion.
Yeah.
And that's the highest. Isn't this the highest tech company ever, right?
Probably.
As far as any technology company going public, that is the most valued of the companies. Now, that's kind of the big news. I thought what was more interesting is all of these other stories that are falling in line about Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I just lined them up one in a row, one after the other after the other. And so the first one is, in order for people to really invest, is that Facebook has to figure out, geez, how are we going to make money? How are these investors going to get, their investments back? And so they've sort of experimenting with an app center for paid apps. And so they've unveiled this hub for customers to, find games and other apps on the social network as in sort of a storefront,
not your
fashion
traditional
or
brick and mortar, yeah.
Yeah, and so, that's kind of new. That's competing right with Apple or, the Android market. One of the things Facebook has traditionally done horrible is mobile. Their apps on mobile are just stripped down or, all this kind of stuff. And so if they get into the paid mobile app world, this will make investors, I don't know if it'll make them happy, but at least a little bit feel more secure about investing in the company.
Okay.
Definitely the announcement, is about that. Now, the other one I think is even more controversial. It's also about making money, but it's this thing called a heightened feature or a highlighted feature that allows users to pay $2 to promote their status updates.
Yeah,
I
have odd feelings about that.
Well, immediately it's, oh, you didn't pay the $2. It's like, I don't get to see what you do. And so I don't know. It just seems like a kind of a gimmicky way to say, oh, see, here's another way we can make money.
Yeah.
Because Facebook has a lot of people sharing stuff on there. And traditionally, the only way, they can make money is to take advertising dollars based off of, what your info is. And there's no other company that's gotten themselves into more hot water about, like personal information or how, the users make things private or whatever. They're definitely, made people slightly uncomfortable. And so, these are other ways, to make money to, get away from this idea of just selling people's information. The other one I thought was interesting, you know, sort of in this or whatever, is now they're going to add suicidal prevention outreach for, you know, anybody, but it adds a service for vets and military personnel. You know, I mean, I know Facebook is huge as far as the military keeping in touch with their families, but this goes right back to the donor. I don't think this is as, you know, I mean, I don't know, having suicide prevention outreach on this service, it's not something you'd really want to make public. But it's right in line with this donor thing, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to be good, we're good, you know, morals and all this kind of stuff. I mean, do this not at the same time as you're trying to make $77 to $96 billion, you know, becoming a public company. I mean, now this looks gimmicky, right? I mean, are you really serious about doing this stuff or whatever? I mean, that's kind of what people are, you know, gonna think or ask themselves. But
you know, the concept behind it is interesting. It does have a very wide reach, and that's why people are primarily flocking to it, because of the, as you were saying, people share with things on Facebook. But, you know, last week I was a little uncomfortable with the donor program. I'm still on the fence about that one, but this one, I think there's, you know, some silver lining. You know, there's some hope to it. It's more humanitarian, you might say. I don't know why. I just feel like because it's an individual, but with the donor, it seems you're putting your information out there.
Well, it might be, you know, I mean, here's the thing is that, you know, this is sort of in line with services like the Veterans Crisis Line, but people there talk on the telephone.
Yeah.
You know, this could even, it depends on how it's set up, because if it's private, people could feel even more comfortable than calling, right? So they could feel like, hey, you know, I want to talk to somebody. The other thing is that, you know, when you're doing this kind of stuff, you're networking people together, and so your help network can be much larger than just calling somebody, you know.
You know, well, the question is there going to be, as you were saying about the privacy policies, is there going to be some disclaimer if the person on Facebook feels that you're in imminent danger, that they're going to call the local authorities to come knock on your door? Time will tell.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, this is military people that are overseas.
Yeah.
2.2 military families in the U.S. So, you know, so you have all these stories about Facebook. Now, the last one we have, as far as a Facebook story, really doesn't have anything to do with their going public or their IPO, but this has to do with password. There's a ban. How can I put this? There's something called the Password Protection Act.
Yes.
It is a group of Democrats that have introduced the legislation. They introduced it on May 9th, which was
last week.
And what it would do is it would stop employers from asking or forcing employees to hand over their passwords on, it's saying Facebook, but it seems that it's any network, it's any accounts on social media sites at all. They're using Facebook as sort of, because of its, you know, the most popular or whatever social network out there. But this would basically ban employees from demanding access to that. So it does things like prohibit an employer from forcing prospective and current employees to provide access to their own private accounts as a condition of employment, prohibits, I'm reading this, prohibits employees from discriminating or retaliating against a prospective or current employer because that employer refuses to provide access. It prohibits advertising adverse employment related to actions as a consequence of an employee's failure to provide access to their own private accounts. And it does some other stuff. I'm saying if any of this stuff is relevant, it holds employers accountable for stealing data from their employees. Ooh, that one's...
Yeah.
Yeah, employers that violate the Password Protection Act may face financial penalties. So I guess that's the enforcement part of it. It's called the PPA bill. And so it's... right now it was introduced into the Senate. But so that's kind of all the Facebook news we have. And so our next story is kind of a follow-up, right?
Yes. It's we broke, well, I can't say we broke the story, but it was a story that we followed up where we had a lot of talk on last week.
I had a feeling this was going to happen. And so Scott Thompson, who was the embattled CEO of Yahoo, you know, I mean, he never, by the way, when I went back and looked more into this, he never even submitted a resume to Yahoo. They pulled this information off a bio that was put up on another site somewhere, and he never even ever submitted this information saying that he had a computer science degree held from, I remember what university it was, but there was this big uproar over that. He stepped down. The other thing is now, so he stepped down, and then Ross Levinson?
Yeah, Levinson.
Levinson is now the interim CEO, but it looks, more and more it looks like he will become permanent.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to call this interesting, but at the same time that Scott Thompson announced his resignation, the reason for it wasn't lying on his resume. It was that he has thyroid cancer. So he, told the board at Yahoo that he has thyroid cancer and that he was stepping down for medical reasons. And that he was diagnosed, is what he said. He was diagnosed at the exact time that this, controversy over his resume, or we'll just call it his bio online.
Yeah.
And so he decided he didn't want this made public. And so he wanted to keep his health private. And so he didn't mention anything about it till this, this
past week.
Well, until, he'd calmed down a little bit about the controversy with his credentials or whatever, or this degree thing.
Yeah.
And so, just the information.
Well, unfortunate. So out of the picture, interim stepping in for the time being.
Right. And this is a long, sort of in line with a long list of problems with Yahoo.
Yeah.
I still think, Yahoo is the third most popular
search engine.
Web property online or whatever. And so, I don't think they're going anywhere fast. In fact, I was just reading this article before we came in here that talked about how the whole internet is going to die. The next 5 years that Google, Facebook, all of them are not going to be around. And their argument for this is, we had Web 1.0, which is the early days, like Google, things that don't even exist, like Lycos and the Excite, things that we don't even know, that sort of died off. Web 2.0 came along, which is Facebook and social media sites like that, MySpace. The third next big push is mobile. And so there's this idea that these companies like Google, Facebook, they're really struggling to survive in the mobile world. It might take them out. So we might not have an internet. We might all just be running around cell phones with apps. That's the theory.
We'll file that and time will tell.
We'll have to, yeah. And so before we take a break, I guess we'll go into this. It's not tech, but it's still geeky.
We have a lot of that. It is a live show. That is Dean there.
And so that's what I'm waiting for right there.
Should we talk about the TriCaster?
Yeah. No. I was trying to bring up this link. So over the weekend, I went to the Renaissance Fair. It's the original Renaissance Pleasure Fair. Spent all day Sunday walking around.
Oh, wow. You spent the day out there, Dean.
Yeah. Am I look sunburned a little bit?
A little bit.
It was hot. It was it was dusty. It was hot. And so you remember when we did the Doodah Parade, Michelle Mills, Queen Naughty Mickey. She is a sword dancer at the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
So she performed, and I went and walked around, met her, watched. It's her thing at the Renaissance Fair is exactly what we did on the show.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah. So everybody that's watches the show on a regular basis has seen what the show is. But I thought the Renaissance Fair, I'd never been.
Okay.
So it was definitely like walking. I wouldn't say, because you'd think it's a Renaissance Fair, it's like walking in a time. It's not like walking in a time. It's like walking into an intense version of Disneyland, right? That's kind of what I thought. It was like, this is crazy, the costumes and just the whole entire thing. I did take some live video of the Renaissance Fair. I thought maybe we'd show a little bit of it. It's choppy. I didn't have a really good connection, but this is, you could see the costumes. This is kind of a good idea of just walking around it. There was 13 stages, and so there was different acts, everything you'd think of, sword fighting to, let's see, I guess it froze on them. I don't know what so that little piece of it. There was more. Part of the video, I show a parade, which was really common. There's the parade right there. So parades going through
Dean, you're jinxing
the streets. I know. And so,
Okay.
I know this video works, and so it's something with the internet connection. But anyways, so there's these parades that go through the streets, and you know they have, like I was saying, jousting and all kinds of stuff there. The reason we're bringing it up is next weekend, or this coming weekend, the 20th. This is the last weekend for the Renaissance Fair. So I thought I'd just bring it up for anybody that wants to go.
Yeah.
You know, they do it once a year. I think it's 2 months long. They do it for 2 months. They do it April 7th through May 20th. And so this coming up weekend is the last chance to see it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely geeky if you like geeky stuff. It is definitely, there's a lot of steampunk.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of, you know, the goggles. There was a guy there, he called himself Birdman with these big, huge wings. That was very, very steampunk. Yeah. And a lot of that. You know, even though the way I sort of felt is that the Renaissance, the fair itself, the people that put it on are not really happy with that they try and keep all the costumes very much within the time period. Yeah. And, right. There's a hierarchy of royalty and peasants, and the way that they dress. Most of these costumes are made by the people and the performers and stuff. So the steampunks aren't really welcomed. Yeah, it's definitely worth going and seeing. All right. So it's in case I didn't say, so it's a Santa Fe recreation area in Irwindale. I'll give out the phone number. It's 626-969-4750, and then it goes from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And it's this Sunday is the last day.
The last day. It's Saturday and Sunday. It only runs in the weekends.
Okay.
And so
it's not tech, but it's still geeky.
And yeah, and it's slightly expensive. I'm not going to, you can call
it. Stop there. Yeah. We're going to take a break now.
All right, yeah, we'll go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we still got some crazy stuff to talk about. I mean, I think this is where the show's going to get good. So with that, we'll be right back.
Jonesy cat, she is my kitty, she is my squiddy, she is my Jonesy, she is my Jonesy cat, she is my cat.
Things can get pretty ugly when you're bored. In an after-school program, you can find something way better to do.
Hello there. Having a lasting effect on a kid's life can be quick and easy.
Here's some stuff we've learned.
From time to time, secret codes may be used. It's not uncommon for a kid to demonstrate special powers.
Costumes can be uncomfortable, but loads of fun. Moments like these happen every day.
Lend your support. Go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
That's all for now.
Passing gas in the presence of others is not only inappropriate.
That is so foul.
It can be deadly. Passing gas releases a fog of carbon monoxide.
Grandpa!
And other poisonous fumes that can contribute to asthma and pneumonia.
You're killing us over here.
Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas. Take it outside.
Once you see the world through math and science, you'll never see anything the same way again. Go to girlsgotech.org.
You'll see.
Welcome back. We're waiting for the teleprompter to be reset. And so I guess we can just get in the other stories. No. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Welcome back. I want to remind everybody that if you have a question about the stories we're talking about, you can call in. The show's live, 626-794-2116, or post a question on Twitter using the hashtag Pasadenan. Let's get right to, this is a story about San Francisco. It's kind of a localized story for that particular area.
Yeah.
It's a, I hope this doesn't happen everywhere story. And so in 25 locations, in mostly bars in San Francisco, it says venues, but I'm assuming they're installing software that has facial recognition in it and then live streaming video onto the internet of you getting drunk. What do you think? The technology is called Scene Tap. It's an Australian-based nightclub startup. What's that?
I think it's a bad idea.
Would you want it here in the Pasadena area so that when
get hammered?
No, so that the rest of the world can see what bars. I don't want to be a conspiracy, go off on a tangent with this or whatever, but you couldn't see this being incorporated into some policing.
Well, that's what I was thinking right now.
Right,
as well.
It's like, they would have tabs on exactly what bars you're going to, and then, if you're coming out of a bar, they just wait.
Well, it's not even just that, waiting. Just let's say you're causing an accident later on. They're going to have footage right back to the fact you're at the bar.
In San Francisco, since I lived there for quite a while, in San Francisco, the bars, you don't really have a driving issue because
it's all metro.
Well, it's a small street. You don't want a car in San Francisco. It's big city stuff. It's like New York or whatever. And so, it's easy to go bar hopping there. But I still kind of don't want, I guess you don't, it's the bar.
It's going to be like when they do filmings out in public, they have little disclaimers on the door saying as you come in, hey, you're coming to an area that's going to be taped live,
Yeah, I don't think,
Is it going to hurt your business?
The streaming part of it, I could see that promoting the bar. I could promoting, you could go online and say, oh, look, there's, people at such and such a bar or whatever, and it's a promotional thing. But adding facial recognition so they know who you are, that's just creepy.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, this is a company called Scene Tap, and I don't normally say this, but I hope they go out of business. So, and anyways, so let's move on because we got a ton of these stories that are really crazy. This is another one. This is an app called Ugly Meter, right? And it's got these people that are, cyberbullying activists worried because what this basically does is you scan somebody in and it tells you on an ugly meter exactly how ugly the person is. what a horrible app, right? Are you going to...
Trying to get my app going here.
Yeah, I should have. I think it's free. I think it's a free download. No, it's 99 cents, so you have to actually even pay for it.
I'm willing to pay for that, Dean.
Well, what was that other one, Girls Around You or something, where it had this creepy stalking factor where it took geolocations of women and told you, who was around you? This has got that same sort of...
Well, from the standpoint of an activist who's concerned about bullying, yeah, I see the serious concerns about this. But if on a gimmicky scale for some laughs, hey.
It's funny, right? That's the idea.
It's an icebreaker. It's going to be an icebreaker at the bar.
Right. Oh, look, you're ugly?
Yeah. I should buy you a drink. And it's going to go from there.
Yeah, well, you're saying there should be an ugly meter, and then underneath the ugly meter part of it, if we could show the picture of it, it should have like the time of the night it is for the bar, for when your facial recognition, right? It's like 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and then your ugly meter not only is judged by, the person, but what time it is at the bar.
Yeah.
That, 2 o'clock, nobody's ugly.
Yeah, everyone's beautiful.
Everybody's beautiful, right?
All right.
So should we just move on from
move
this
on,
before we get ourselves into big trouble? So this story is what little turn of a topic or however you want to. Cell phone penalties could be going up under a new bill that's being proposed. Not much, but enough. It's
$20 to $30. That's a significant.
Well, here's the thing: is I see people running around on their cell phones in cars, and they sort of scoff at this because they say it's only $20 fine. I think it started out at $15 when it first was proposed. $30 instantly becomes $200 because they add all these penalty fees and court fees and whatever it is. So the actual walking out the door after getting one of these tickets it's going up from $159 to $199 for the first. And by the way, that's the first offense. The one thing I want to say about these, cell phone laws are not about the penalties. The courts it's not about fining you for it. The reason they put these laws into effect is if you get into an accident and the insurance company can prove that you are on a cell phone, you are committing an illegal act, and you can you not only can you be charged with more crimes because you're endangering people and they can pile things onto you, but the insurance company is sort of off the hook sometimes when you're well, because you're committing an illegal, you're getting into an accident while committing an illegal act or whatever it is. Yeah. And so these are really about more the insurance companies you know, the liability of you getting into an accident while you're doing something illegal. And so that's, you know, where these laws really come in. And this is just talking about cell phone. You know, I mean, it's the texting and all that kind of stuff, because there's different laws. And by the way, they're simply laws that distracted driver laws.
Yeah.
So
I think, distracted driver's laws is just
and this is
everything.
this is a pending bill, so it has to be approved, and then, you know, so we won't see this anytime soon. This next story, how much time do we have? Because this is a pretty big story. This is about the United States Postal Service. Tomorrow is going to ban international shipments of electronic devices with lithium batteries, which pretty much is everything.
Cell phones,
cameras, right? Exactly.
GPS
Scanners,
units,
GPS, right? So I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, I get all this information from them about how hard they're hurting. You know, I mean, they're just handing over a ton of business to UPS. And I mean, Amazon's not going to go, gee, we're not going to send you a camera.
Yeah.
You're just going to get it through FedEx or, you know, UPS or whatever other service. Shooting themselves in the foot, right? You know, everything from iPads to Kindles to, you know, so.
What?
But they're sort of, they're saying that lithium batteries can explode and catch fire in certain conditions.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so in 2 instances in the last, it just says in the past, it doesn't really give a time, but it just says that 2 cargo planes have crashed because of lithium batteries catching on fire. It seems to me that, you know, you would put these in a contained area or something. I mean, I don't know. You know, the story should really have a follow-up in it as to what sort of, you know, the UPS or FedEx or whatever. Now, we'd have a pretty serious problem. The other thing is that, you know, they're saying that the United States Postal Office is going to ban shipping electronic devices. Why not ship everything ground? Right? I mean, why? I mean, this is making it sound like everything is being shipped, you know, internationally. But, you know, you have cargo ships, so it'll take a little bit longer. Yeah. But, I mean, they're outright banning it. It seems to me that this is some type of a move to draw attention to it.
Okay.
More than it is, you know.
I'm in agreement. When I read the story as well, felt like it was lacking certain parts, so I felt like there was something more that was going to be a follow-up to it.
Or that, you know, I mean, there's something that they're trying to draw attention to.
Or down the line, we're going to see a paid service for such things.
So, you know, so the last story we have in this sort of segment is about the BBC, and they're going to stream 24 hours live in HD all the Olympic events simultaneously. So you'll be able to just go. And I don't know, you know, the last Olympics, NBC got themselves into hot water because they delayed it and they wouldn't allow any of the video to go out until the East Coast and West Coast, because they were in Vancouver, Canada, right? Where were they? And then
the Winter Olympics were in Whistler.
Yeah, Canada, right?
Yeah.
And so it was like they made sure that all the time zones, but then they didn't have any limitations on like Yahoo Sports or any of these websites, so you'd know who won. You didn't see the video of it, but you'd know all of the results, and so the video kind of was useless, right?
Yeah, I think one of the troubles I've had when I've watched the Olympics in the past is as you were talking about earlier, how they were trying to sync up the times. You know, there were some times where certain things came on at 3 in the morning, and I felt like, what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not too often in the news you get to use the word nifty. There's a nifty idea, you know, so. But the other thing is I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the first time that they've streamed them all simultaneously like that. And by the way, it's going to be on all devices because the BBC is really good at getting this stuff out on set-top boxes, on your Xbox, on your PlayStation, all of that stuff. I think this is going to be a pretty well-watched Olympics. The other thing is we did this story a little while ago about how in the Olympic Village they were clamping down on athletes and people that were associated with it on social media, right? So no Facebook posts, no Twitter posts, any of that kind of stuff. Maybe this is a compromise to, you know, you're not going to see, I'm sure you're going to see tweets and postings get out, but, you know, I mean, literally, if you're an athlete, it could disqualify you. So I'm not sure that they'd be willing to take that risk.
And then one of the key things at the very end of it was that, you know, some of the broadcasts that they're going to be broadcasting will be in 3D with this BBC, this news coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, yeah, some events in 3D.
Yeah.
And so it's very expensive. Right?
For those folks out there with the 3D set tops.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about this because E3 is coming up, and last year at E3, the Sony debuted these television sets that were, I don't know, they were 20-inch monitors or whatever, but they were trying to get 3D out there, and so these less than $500. And I thought what was interesting when I saw them, and I don't know, you know, I'm sure they had to have gone to market. I just missed it.
Yeah.
Because of the way that 3D works, and you have, you know, 2 images simultaneously being shown, so it's 1080p high definition twice, whatever that is, whatever the doubling the resolution is. They have video games where, let's say you're playing it in a 2-player mode, that you can wear the glasses and each player full screen can see their game and competing against the other player on the same screen. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good use of the technology because I'm not a big fan of 3D, but we'll have to see. So you can get into the market. This is the off the topic show, right? It's just, we're just randomly.
No, it's interesting things to put out there for that.
But, yeah, so, you know, I mean, so I guess the Olympics being in 3D would be interesting.
Yeah. And then I just thought about, you know, E3 this year, I think it's the same weekend as your JPL, June 9th and 10th.
Oh, is it for the JPL?
Yeah.
No, E3 is during the week.
Oh, okay.
It's during the week.
Okay.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's it's a media only event. It's you know, 150,000 of your closest friends.
Yeah.
And so it's a very large event. We'll talk about more as it becomes closer. You know, I just got my credentials. In fact, it's interesting. I got invited to Showstoppers, and so we might actually do. You don't know this. I'm telling you something. We might do the show live from Showstoppers.
Oh, very nice.
Because it's Tuesday night, so I have to work that out. We were talking about it with Chevelle, and so look for that. We might, you know, depending on how if we can do it.
We'll be remote that night.
We'll be remote that night. It'll be the first time. It'll be the first time we've ever done anything like that. So, with that, let's move on and let's go to a commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about video games, and even more, and more video games, and even more. So with that, we'll be right back.
Being there for kids is super good fun.
All it takes is a little know-how. Curiosity. The key to a lifetime of discovery.
Kids will go to mighty great lengths to impress you.
Kids know what's cool. Good thing you don't have to. Moments like these happen every day.
Lend your support. Go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
Until next time.
There's one. Come here, you!
Is it mice? Nope.
Rats?
Nope.
Hogs?
That's right, miss.
Hogs.
Energy hogs. If you're wasting energy, you'll find one in your home.
Got energy hogs in your house? Now you have the power to do something about them. Log on to energyhog.org.
Hey, let me go.
In your dreams, Porky.
Because nobody likes an energy hog.
Plastic ones last longer.
Pork bellies close steady due to speculation that demand for bacon-related products.
Read me this one, Daddy.
Okay, honey.
The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Jonesy Kitty, Jonesy Kitty, Jonesy cat. She is my kitty.
She is my Squiddy. She is my Jonesy. She is my Jonesy cat. She is my cat.
Things can get pretty ugly when you're bored. In an after-school program, you can find something way better to do.
Welcome back. I want to remind everybody that if you have a question about these stories or anything tech. The show is being produced live, so in the few minutes we have left, you can call in at 626-794-2116 or post a question on Twitter using the hashtag Pasadena. And so let's get into Hard Reset. I don't think we played the annoying video for it, right?
Yeah, Faith in the chat.
So maybe that was the real video of the TriCaster. I don't know. And so, well, let's get right into, GameStop is admitting defeat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so this is the headline.
Okay.
So it's starting to sell Steam vouchers. So Steam is an online game portal for buying video games. You buy video games. Do you have a Steam account?
No. I'm aware of it.
Okay.
You
should. If you go onto Steam, you can download free. There's all kinds of free games, especially old ones.
Yeah.
Like old, 1980s. There's a tip. Go onto Steam, get an account, go through the list of video games, and every now and then you'll have, and they do it sort of randomly, there'll be a game that's free.
Okay.
There's quite a few of them.
Right.
And so, yeah. Going back to GameStop. So GameStop, in fact, last year I went to this thing called the LA Game Conference, something or other, where they talk, it's not like E3, they just talk about the state of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
They talk like, how much money's being made. They talk about sort of the app market versus the console handheld, lots of statistical diagrams and stuff. It's a headache for people that are not into sort of marketing and whatever.
Developing.
But at that conference, the CEO of GameStop sort of talked about how they were going to enter the sort of online, marketplace or whatever. And what they're, in this story, what they're saying is that is sort of failed.
Okay.
That they're giving up on this. Instead, they're going to start selling Steam vouchers.
As of today.
Yeah. So now you can go into their literally brick and mortar stores and buy these vouchers for, I could just see it as for a gift, right?
Okay.
I mean, if somebody wants
card.
one, well, why would you just, if you're on Steam, you just simply give it your credit card number.
Yeah.
Why do you need to go into a brick and mortar store to buy this? So it seems more of a...
I think they might be selling it for those who are not gamers, like grandparents who are buying for kids, maybe.
Well, GameStop, having listened to the CEO, they know they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Most of these, not only things like On Live, which is completely bypassing all of the used market by it's the Netflix model for video games. But, these one-time use codes for games that are really popular now. In fact, Blizzard, that's one of the things I really don't like about that company is they have these. You go on, you have to register the game, and then you can never sell the used copy of it.
Yeah.
In fact, whenever I see World of Warcraft used copies, somebody trying to sell it, you can't use it, right? Unless you have the code, that disc is of no value.
Yeah.
So this is becoming more and more popular. So, I don't know what GameStop's going to do. They try to do weird things like Pokemon, the new, go in and unlock one of the creatures in the game or whatever, one of the monsters that you battle with. No kid wants to take their video game console into GameStop just to unlock a monster. You're just making parents mad. So,
end the story.
Yeah, and so sort of in a related kind of a way, and a bit of talking about E3 again, is that Valve, which is one of the companies in fact, Portal, the original one, I got on Steam for free.
Okay.
So it was one of the games they do these promotional things. I got the entire first game from them free. So Valve, who's known for things like Half-Life, the Orange Box, what's on there? It's like a whole bunch of Half-Life games, and it's Portal. It was that introduction of Portal, which is one of the coolest games ever on the planet. Not that you're endorsing it. Not that I'm endorsing it, but at E3 they're going to have no product announcements.
Oh, really?
So that kind of, there's no Left 4 Dead 2. There's no.
I think it's.
Or Left 4 Dead 3, I guess it would be.
Yeah. I guess you can cross their little booth off on your map as you work your way around through there now.
And, the long-awaited news of a new entry for Half-Life.
Yeah.
None of that is going to be announced. That's basically what they're saying. So I didn't know they did Twisted Metal. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's new. I'm reading it. That's new to me. But that's kind of a bummer, right? That's a disappointment for anybody that's a Valve fan, especially. You know, I think the big story here, or the big part of this, is the Half-Life. Half-Life has a lot of mods, like the people that have gone through them and redone the levels and stuff. I have one of the games that's a very famous redone version of Half-Life. It's good. Yeah, this is why the show's live.
Well, this is where I jump in here. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to gaming, I call up my friend who happens to be in the control booth, and I say, what's he talking about?
Oh, okay. Would that be Todd?
It'd be Todd.
Who didn't, by the way, we're just going to, we have some time left, right? Didn't buy Diablo 3, said he wasn't interested in playing it.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. You know what? He's going on vacation. Is this his last night?
This is his last night here with us.
Well, we should thank him for doing the show. And he's coming back in 6 weeks, and so it's not permanent. But is it 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's just about.
And so
we'll see.
He's probably in the control room slamming his fist down, like, what are they talking about?
Why are they putting all my information out?
So, anyways, let's get to the next story.
There's a spot open.
What's that?
I said there's a spot open in the control booth on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's people that want to come in for the journalism workshop. All the people that are behind the scenes right now are all volunteers, and so you can literally come down and help us out, learn a little bit about journalism. Tuesday nights, 6 to 9.
Learn a little bit about the studio on Wednesday nights, training classes.
And I have no idea if you're still doing the
digital filmmaking. Still happens on Monday nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
but we'll get back to our stories, Dean.
Right. So the Kinect, which is Microsoft's, you are the controller, hands-free,
your body.
Is now having a version of Internet Explorer that will use that technology. So you'll be able to dance and, I guess, swipe away pages or something on Internet Explorer. This I didn't know, that Microsoft is the first console maker to develop a full-featured web browser, and I don't think that's correct, because the Dreamcast had a web browser, and so did the Sega.
Not Genesis. Not Saturn.
Saturn?
Maybe
it was.
Saturn.
So way back and I know Dreamcast because I still have the disc.
Yeah.
Can't use it, but it was a full-featured web browser that you could use on there.
Maybe limited, but it was a web browser.
So we need to correct this, and so keeping the record straight. Anyways, so the interesting thing here is that you will be able to do things hand gesture-wise online, and I have a feeling that because this is a web browser designed for the Xbox, that it is going to limit you on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they've got their gold accounts and silver, whatever, that allow you things like Netflix. They're not going to allow you to go through a web browser, Internet Explorer. Maybe they are, but I would not, hold your breath that you could go to Netflix website and just stream your Netflix account onto the Xbox when they specifically want you to have an account to do that.
Right.
It's one of the sort of the limitations of the Xbox, or using it as a streaming device, is that you have to pay a little bit on top of that.
And as you said, the gold and silver levels.
So, I guess, well, I don't know.
Well, we have.
Anyways, we got
so
let's talk about, we got 2 minutes left in the show. So let's talk about this fire-breathing dragon.
How would you define this in our show lineup? This is definitely.
You mean to read the headline?
No, well, yeah, okay.
Dude made a fire-breathing dragon.
Sounds like Todd wrote the title for the.
Dude made a flying. So this is this is a remote-controlled fire-breathing dragon. It's called Mythical Beast. It's got a 7.5 foot long and a 9-foot wingspan. It breathes fire, literally, and it was shown off at the 2012.
That was it. Fire. That was it. Breathing fire.
So that was it. Breathing fire, and then so this was at the RC car show, and we're going to end with the video, and the video you wanted to see.
This is the video I wanted to see,
which is where it flies around.
Yes.
And so with that, we're going to end the show. Do everything we wouldn't do.
We thank you for watching.
Yeah. And so until next week, here is the RC Flying Dragon.
What's going on? Whoa.